Dude, you should be on American Idol.
You really think so?
No.
Accidents happen, even to Husker fans. If it happens to you, call Eustace Body Shop, where our customers send their friends.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstorats.com for amazing offers. And if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Call Bats to Rats today at 402-781-8691. That's 402-781-8691. Bats to Rats.
Attention students and anyone else looking for a great deal. Sun Valley Lanes and Games has the ultimate weeknight special. For just $15.95, enjoy unlimited bowling, lucky putt mini golf, and laser tag. Flash your college ID at check-in to receive $2 off your admission. It's the perfect way to unwind Sunday through Thursday nights. Check out sunvalleylanes.com for hours and availability. Sun Valley Lanes and Games, located at 321 Victory Lane.
Lincoln's best place to meet, eat, and compete. Sun Valley.
Explain to me again why we're sleeping on the ground.
Because we're thramping, thrift camping. It's saving us money and getting us closer to nature.
But we don't need to thramp. I just combined our home and auto insurance with our State Farm agent, so we have a rate that fits our budget.
All right. Do you think our agent can bring us an air mattress?
Call your local State Farm agent, Vinny Krekak, at 402-474-1173.
Individual premiums and budgets will vary by customer. All applicants subject to State Farm underwriting requirements.
An hour ago, you didn't need a plumber. Now you're in a panic. When life throws you a surprise with a clogged drain, plugged or leaky toilet, broken pipe, leaky faucet or water heater, or a bathroom or kitchen plumbing upgrade, whatever. Just call Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing, 467-1111. Keep that number handy, 467-1111. Or go to BryantLincoln.com. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. We do whatever it takes.
If you want to make new floor shopping easier, come to O Street Carpet. Hi, I'm Steve Carper. Our flooring professionals can help you choose the best flooring for you, your family, and your budget. We eliminate the confusion. Even better, you'll be enjoying your new flooring much sooner. No 6 or 8 week waits. We'll install right away and save you money on installation. Floor shopping made easy every day at O Street Carpet.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. This is the Don't Punt Hour with former Nebraska receiver.
Throwing over the middle, completes the pass. He's got speed to the end zone. Touchdown. 45 yards.
And return specialist.
This time he beats the kicker and one more.
DeMornay Pierson-El.
Not only does the sideline have confidence in Pierson-El, but Pierson-El has confidence in Pierson-El.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome into the Don't Punt Hour. Harrison Arns on the ones and twos. As always, we got DeMornay Pierson-El streaming in, host of the show. If you guys want to join in, you can use the streams. You can use the Starter Him and text line, 402-464-5685. We do not have NFL on the brick and mortar, but we do have Royals as Royals continue their postseason play. Currently, last time I checked, I believe it's still tied up 0-0. Yes, 0-0. Royals still tied with the Yankees, bottom of the second right now. And as that goes along, we'll give you some updates along the way. But DeMornay Pierson-El, I want to talk a lot of Husker football tonight. Obviously, we got a Monday Night Football game as well I want to touch on, but how's it going on this Monday?
It's going good. The victory Monday, it wasn't the prettiest thing, but, we got out there and pulled the W out. That's most important.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we'll probably talk about it, but especially if you just go back and look at all of the games last weekend, you'll take the win. There was enough chaos in the land of college football. Luckily, Nebraska avoided it. You could say that it was a little bit chaotic, but what I mean by that, they were favored to win, and that's what they did. Took care of it at home. I don't care by how much, as long as you get the win at the end of the day. My score prediction was way off. That was not the backyard street fight I was expecting. But like I said, I'll take the win either way. We're going to talk more on that. But first, we do get the New Orleans Saints facing the undefeated Chiefs at Arrowhead. It is a home game. Who do you got?
I hope the Chiefs lose. I'm going Saints.
Yeah, I want to say Saints too, but my heart says Saints. Reality says Chiefs are going to find a way to go 5-0 here. I mean, I don't. Maybe if they had Adams already. But I
don't. For life. I'm rolling. Who that? That's who I'm rolling with.
Yeah, I mean, I think most of the NFL world is getting to the point where they're just tired of the Kansas City Chiefs. The same way people get tired of the Lakers, the Yankees. When you're on top long enough, people are tired of it. Yeah, Cowboys. Cowboys are a little bit of a weird one. That's just they're not even dominant. It's just the fact that they're such a massive market. The Cowboys, for whatever reason, I think just being dubbed America's team too, when you're that big, and you're just going to get the resentment from a lot of people who do not want to call you America's team. But unfortunately, I got Chiefs tonight. That being at home as well, I'm not worried about Kelsey. I think that offense is just going to get better and better. I think Worthy has an opportunity to keep expanding within that offense. So, yeah, I got Chiefs. Hopefully Derek Carr can pull it off with another electric performance, but that's a tough one, especially at Arrowhead. I mean, you've given me stories of playing at Arrowhead. The one time you took the victory lap around it. But it's a tough place to play nonetheless.
It is a tough place, but I mean that's what makes the best games. Honestly, David wasn't picked by many people to beat Goliath, but he did.
That's true, and I'll tell you this much: did you watch all the way through for Sunday Night Football? I mean, that game it was
so boring. It was so boring. Like that was just. I'm more nervous for the Steelers. Like that offensive play calling is just like you can't even put even when they were undefeated and everything like that. Like I understand defense wins you games and whatnot, but like that run game is offensive line. It's just the defense is the only thing that's saving them.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say that run game was something else there. Yeah, certainly.
It is something else, but not in the good something, the bad something.
Yeah, I was really surprised because Justin Fields is actually he's been playing phenomenal. A completion percentage is 70% over, just a little bit over that even. I mean, this is the most accurate version of him we're seeing, so they're certainly helping him out.
Yes,
but at the same time, you definitely got to patch that run game up a little bit because Justin Fields is playing great football. I don't know if we'll see Wilson again, unless he has just a horrible turnover style game. What's that?
He might get traded, like with November. Teams might be calling to kind of check. I mean, I know Miami, regardless of whatever they say, you get Russell, down there. That's potentially something or whatnot. We could see him up out of there.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of ways you go out there. Panthers might want to take another swing at it. I don't know what the deal would look like. You'd get Bryce Young.
You got a veteran guy down there. There's no need to, and Dalton's, doing things for a reason. I would say Miami. I could say New England, but I feel like I'm just throwing that out there just to throw that out there. I mean, they got their quarterback. It's just a matter of time before he steps in. But I mean, even with Jacoby Brissett there, it's not. I wouldn't say it's technically his fault that they're losing. That was a bad call. They should have won the game. They should have beat Miami.
Yeah, I agree. I thought that was going to be Miami trying to get back on track because we've kind of talked about it before, but I don't see any world where Tua's going to come back. And even if he's like healthy enough to come back, there's going to be so many people around him probably trying to convince him to go ahead and wrap it up. Again, it's his life, his career, but that whole situation is you just don't want to see that deteriorate. And even if he seems all right now, you just don't know. Give it 10 years, 15 years, like depending on what the damage is on the brain. Luckily, he's got, doctors that he's probably getting, the best of the best get looked at it. But the Dolphins, that to me makes the most sense just because that is a roster that desperately needs a quarterback simply for the fact they got everything else on that offense. They just need a quarterback they can rely on consistently. I did see 8-Chain go out. I'm not entirely sure how bad the injury was, But other than that, you still got a decent running back room in there, great wide receivers. You just need a QB. You just need someone to get them the ball on time, and the defense play a little bit better. But even then, the defense is keeping its head above water. They've been average for the most part, not elite, not bad, just average. All right. You got any NFL notes, or do you want to dive into this Rutgers game?
We can dive into the Rutgers game.
Let's do it. Let's go ahead and put on the iconic Husker background banner. Can't do it without it. All right. So, I mean, the game kind of went how we thought in a weird way, though. It was way more defense. But for the most part, the mindset was right from just about everybody I talked to. Force the ball into Kaliak Manis' hands, make him make the decisions. You will find a way to win that game. That's pretty much what happened. The first drive was a little bit shocking and scary because pretty much all of the rushing yards that we were so worried about came in that first drive. I think he racked up over 60. And then from there on out, it was just completely bottled up. And you give credit for Tony White. He did change the front a little bit to take care of that. What'd you see in that game? Give me just your quick thoughts before we start picking it apart.
From the defensive standpoint, I mean, they answered the bell. They rung the bell, kicked over the bell.
Cracked the bell. That's how good that defense was. That's what I was talking about when I was preaching on Thursday. I want to see an elite defense, not just a good defense. That's elite. I mean, that's elite.
After 100 yards, multiple goal line, stands, turnovers. I mean, how do you want it? You're getting it any way, however you want. Have it your way at Burger King. So that's what they're dealing with. That's what they're giving people: Happy Meals and care packages and whatever else. I really don't have anything. I would say, I don't even want to say bad, like criticize like the defense, because I mean backs against the wall. We needed something, and they showed up. Other than the guy dropping a go-ahead touchdown, that would be the only thing. With the bye week coming up, corner wise, like who are you rolling with? You know what I mean? Other than that, I mean, fantastic job from the defense all around. Outside of maybe the first two drives. The first two drives after that, it was all the air out of it was let out of the bag. So the defense literally saved the game. Offense, special teams.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I'll tell you one guy in special teams, though, who doesn't deserve that kind of attitude is Brian Buschini once again. I have never been so impressed by a punter just going through. I mean, he had the full-on scorpion when he got hit like that. I mean, that's legs over the head in the most uncomfortable way. You could see definitely did something a little bit to his lower back as he was held on to that as soon as he took the hit, and then pretty much the entire way through. And then you know what? He keeps going out there punting, and after Rutgers gets that block, they know that they're hungry for it. They dial it up, and he throws an absolute dot to his wide receiver. So Brian Buschini was the highlight, and I'll be honest. I mean, he is the heart and soul of the special teams, and maybe even a little bit more than that at this point. Give me your grade for special teams, knowing that Brian Buschini, at least in my eyes, bumped it up a full letter grade in himself.
For his performance, he has his own individual grade. Everything else, C-.
Oh, you're nicer than me. I was giving it an F. Buschini gives it a letter grade bump, so we're at a D+. Because it's just been that bad.
With them, I was on the sidelines this past weekend, and the thing that I noticed, like I felt like the punter was too close to the shield. Like they were very, very close. And I don't know if that's by design or whatnot, but I felt like typically the punter is a little bit further back, which could possibly it creates a shorter edge for somebody coming off the edge on the end, or if you got two guys, coming at one of the shield blockers or whatnot. So I thought that was a little bit weird. I mean, outside of that, I don't have nothing nice to say, so I'm trying to keep it, as good as I can, I guess. I mean, we got extra points, which is good. Kickoff coverage I wouldn't say wasn't terrible. We didn't have a big return or something, scary to kind of get out of that. So that's a plus. But that multiple blocks like that, along with that, and how bad or how inefficient the offense was, when you get into those games against Ohio State, when you get into those games against, Wisconsin or Iowa coming up, those could be, game-changing, plays. And this is something that I think I was talking to Jay on the sideline. I think we've had a block just about in every game, but maybe two. I think the first game and you and I don't think we've had a block. Every game outside of that, I think there's been a block.
I think you and I got a finger on. I'd have to go back and look, but I think even in that you and I.
If I'm not mistaken, it's 2 games where I think there hasn't been a block.
Either way, that's horrible.
It's only a matter of time before that block turns into points. And with how the offense is running with, or how they've been inconsistent with points or, second half, just not scoring and whatnot, that can run you into a problem to where those close games or something like that, where your offense is just, not doing it. Your offense is not out there and your defense is technically not out there, and points still get put up. So hopefully we don't run into that situation. That situation gets cleared up. But with how many blocks that we continuously have, multiple in games before, I'm really, really nervous for that.
Yeah, well, it's also the other thing. Like, it's a massive swing, right? Like, if it's the blocked punt return, you're giving up 6. If it's a missed field goal, that's a 9-point swing. They get 6, you lose 3. You can make it a 10-point swing if you just go ahead and give them the PAT. And I know you threw out Michigan, you threw out Ohio State. We got a bye week. Thank the Lord. All right. Because Indiana, and we'll definitely dive into this more. We might spend more than just Thursday on Indiana because they just keep proving that this team's legit. And it's going to be we're at this point in the second half of the season for Nebraska football where some of the games that we may have circled initially in 22 when it came out, we'd feel pretty good about. Rutgers, Indiana. I think Indiana would have been 2-4 at that point when the schedule initially came out. You feel pretty good about it. This is a different looking second half of the schedule since when it originally came out. It looks way tougher than it did even heading into the season. So now we're at a point for Nebraska. You do absolutely have to get that fixed because the competition is going to get too good. If you are handing gift wrapping points, especially the way you mentioned it, how many times have this team gotten blocked on punts, not being able to get field goals off? Rutgers saw it and they gunned for it. And guess what? They had a man unblocked. We didn't have enough guys up front on the one they blocked. It was simply just an error where whoever our gunner was at the time, I don't want to shout out their name, did not slide down with them. And then, so you can yell at the line for not blocking. There was a guy coming free either way. Now, you can make the argument he should have went with the inside guy as opposed to the outside guy who's the one ended up blocking it. But either way, someone was getting free there. And that's just a small thing.
You were saying there was no corner on a gunner?
They basically, who was on the outside for Rutgers, slid in at the last few moments, and the gunner did not go with them. They had a free man on that side.
That's now you understand why the pass kind of worked a little bit. Typically, if that happens at the next level, that's a touchdown. The quarterback, the punter typically would abort the punt, throw just kind of like a now route out there, and that's a first down. So that's kind of bad execution, and I don't know who it's on if that's not necessarily something that's talked about, or
I think it's just that. It was very late, and as you mentioned, you're surprised to see them kind of go with a look like that again. That's how Buschini. That's why they dial up that pass right after. So you're right. Like it is. If you're pro style, you're never getting that to go. College football level, you kind of wait at the last moment to pull it.
But see, you'd be surprised because there's been situations to where there's too many, we don't have enough to protect, to where you will call your gunners down to kind of block. You as a special teams coach, I highly doubt that that's something that was not put in or they didn't practice. Because I remember being in college, we practiced that, at least two times a week. early in the week and later on in the week, and you hit it again in walkthrough. If the gunner comes off of if the jammer comes off of the gunner, I mean, that's a quick pass, and you're not alert to that. So, that's kind of alarming because you work those situations. That's the game within the game. Situations like that, how if they block it and can return 6, if they throw that out there, it's only one guy, and that's a returner to stop, somebody possibly dynamic or fast with the ball in his hands. Because typically, those are either corners or wide receivers out there. So the fact that that's not an alert, or that's not in, or that's not gone about to where automatically think just throw it out there and let that go, that's very surprising and alarming at the same time. Well, that's bad football. That's not good football. That's bad football.
Well, that's just it, right? Like, I don't know for how bad the special teams have been. It's becoming to me like, is this just on the players not executing, or is this like we need to start having a real Ed Foley talk and trying to understand, like, is he the right guy for the special teams unit? Like, I'm not comfortable enough to say, because just what the injuries is kind of a tough one for your field goal kicker. Rutgers is going to expose teams. They are one of the best when it comes to special teams. That is a Greg Schiano staple. But at the same time, you should know that's coming. You should know you're playing Rutgers. You should know they like to dial things up. You should know they lead and blocked punts. If you go the last 5 years, they are up there, if not one, top 3 at the very least. So you should expect it from Schiano and company. So, I when it's special teams, it's such a unique coaching role that I have a hard time, unless you have a really good guy in mind, you probably don't touch it. I mean, where are you at with that Foley? Is it too soon to even have conversations like that as we're 6 games into the season now?
No, I don't think it's necessarily too soon. I'm kind of in the middle, because how you practice, or how things are in practice, and how they are, in the game is completely different. But when teams know that you block up stuff, that's when, certain looks come about, or they try and trick you with twist or pin you or certain things. That's when you get the whole kitchen sink like thrown at you. So I don't know if they're coaching it enough for the kids to understand it to be right, or he's just not seeing, or the guy's just not coaching it at all, and they're kind of just moving on. I don't think it's the second one. I'm trying to be fair and not put things all on them, because he can have the kids out there all if you want, but if they don't execute and everything like that, is that really his fault, or is that them making mistakes? So I'm not at the point yet to where I feel like he should be fired, just because there are a lot of circumstances that had to be changed. It's sad that you have to put a lot of starters out there on your punt team to go make tackles, but I mean, he made the adjustment. That's not necessarily a problem. Same thing on kickoff. So that right there kind of just reassures me a little bit. It's not so much that it's his fault. It's just the kids that you had out there weren't necessarily accomplishing the assignment.
Yeah, and that's always frustrating, because the easy answer is if it's not, I mean, it does get to a point where if the job's not getting done, guess what? The starters are going to go in there because those guys can't do it. It's also, the worst part about that, though, is now those guys, those developmental guys, aren't getting any reps. Sometimes you're forced to make that decision, which I think it was in this game versus Rutgers, because we saw it, 7-point swing. I mean, 1 touchdown. If you get one more bad punt, blocked punt, whatever it may be, a big miscue on special teams, that could have swung the game dramatically. So I think it was the right call there. But going forward, at least in my eyes, I mean, you wouldn't want to have the starters out there. At least that's just my thought. Or is that, not that big of a deal to have them?
I mean, it's okay to maybe have, a few, but preferably no. So, the rising crop necessarily isn't doing the job, or you're not doing it good enough to where you can be, out there on the field to get the job done. You're becoming a liability. That's not, on the coach's fault. I mean, kudos for him for, seeing that for when he did it and making changes after a while.
I was going to say, well, we can't say saw that early, because it had to get ugly before we did it.
You giving people a chance, might have just been, one game, or like, no, you consistently do it. No, that man got a family to feed, so you better have made some changes.
Oh, for real. I mean, It makes me nervous because this is how this team's going to get caught, right? Like this is going to catch up to you sooner or later. Like if this isn't fixed by Indiana, that moves the needle a lot for me in saying Indiana will win the ball game. If you can't figure out special teams, there is no more easy, quote unquote, easy games for you. Rutgers, was probably as easy as it's going to get for a while. And Rutgers wasn't even a quote unquote easy team. So if this doesn't get fixed, we will have loss number 2 sooner than later. So I'd imagine it's a note of focus. And before we get off special teams, because I want to spend a lot of time on the more of the black shirts and just some of the jaw-dropping stats that really shows you how separate they are from the rest of the country. And also, real quick note, still no rushing touchdown given up through the entire season, which is just phenomenal from the black shirts. But I wanted to ask you, how much time did you spend on special teams during your era with the Huskers?
I mean, we had special teams meetings, my freshman year, Jamrock, Bo and Jamrock pretty much ran, the special teams unit. So, I would meet with Jamrock, just to study returns, how they're going to kick it or whatever, 15, 20 minutes, Thursday and Friday, watching film or whatnot outside of my own type stuff. And then, special teams meeting, that's at least, depending on which unit you in, that's 30 minutes, typically, if it's, PAT, PAT's usually out of there. Okay. Well, they'll hit their, keys and whatnot. And then we move on to, either we doing kickoff, we doing return units, or we doing, prevent units. If it's punt and kickoff, cool. If it's kickoff return and punt return, great. So, I wouldn't say, we spent a whole amount of time, a lot of time, but it was a significant amount to where, we got the job done. We understood things and whatnot, but also you had guys doing their job. Like, I'm not just putting everything on the coach. Some of these kids aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing, and it's hurting the team.
Yeah. And that's where I'm at. I'm uncomfortable I should say uncomfortable is not the right word, but I'm unsure where to place all the blame. It feels like certainly a share. Just how much of the share goes where? Like, is this getting enough time spent on in practice?
Yeah.
Especially knowing that it's been bad. Like, are you taking a step back, realizing like we got guys that, call it what you want to call it, like summer school lessons. Like, we got some guys behind. Let's bring them up to speed when we get some extra time here. If that's what it takes, do it during this bye week. Like, I'm sure it's a massive point of focus. Because, again, with Indiana coming up, you're on the road on top of it. It is a big noon kickoff. Fox is carrying that one.
Is that 12?
That is 12. Yeah. Or actually, I'd have to. It might be 11 a.m. I'd have to go back and double check. It is Fox though. I'll do that over the break here to make sure we got the time right for it. But we got the bye, and that's the key thing. Is like this is a good time to go for a bye because you didn't quite need it after Illinois like you thought you might have, and you're able to bounce back. Get back on the winning side of ball and just scrape out of these last 2 games versus Purdue and Rutgers. But you're scraping by, right? Like, even if you go to that Purdue game, you were scraping by until the fourth quarter where things really took off for you. And that was also a big reason for miscues special teams. Rutgers, same thing. Some big miscues on special teams. Perfect time for a bye week. You were still able to get 2 wins after the loss of Illinois, despite the special teams miscues. So let's get off the negative. Let's talk about the good. We'll talk about the defense on the other side. And then on the very last segment, we'll talk about the offense. Really was good and then just stalled out suddenly and then entirely in the second half. So we'll do all of that here on the Don't Punt Hour. Don't go anywhere. Harrison Arns, Des Moines, Pierson-El. We'll talk to you in a little bit.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
Hey guys, it's your girl Jordan from Sartor Heyman Jewelers. Gentlemen, it's time to elevate your style with something from our men's jewelry and watch collection. Why not treat yourself to the ultimate in luxury? We've got an incredible selection of pre-owned Rolex watches, even those hard-to-find models you've been dreaming of. Whether you're stepping up your game day look or adding a touch of class to everyday wear, our top-tier collection is sure to impress. Stop by Sartor Heyman and discover the perfect piece to reflect your unique style. Until next time, happy shopping, guys.
NEBCO is hiring CDL drivers for ready-mixed concrete, Husker Concrete, and Beatrice Concrete. NEBCO offers great pay, medical and retirement benefits, paid time off, and they pay for CDL training. Apply today and start your new career with a $2,500 hiring bonus. From NEBCO's beginning in 1908, it's the employees that have formed the company's solid foundation. Start your career today. Visit nebcoinc.com. That's NEBCOINC.com. General Fire and Safety has been keeping Lincoln businesses and commercial structures safe for more than 50 years. From a simple fire extinguisher to full fire suppression systems, Lincoln has trusted General Fire and Safety to provide top-of-the-line products, installation, and maintenance. If you're starting a new business in a brand new building, call on General Fire and Safety to help you plan a fire safety system that fits the specific needs of your business, employees, and customers. Call General Fire and Safety today at 402-261-0116.
Midwest Bank is proud to be your local community bank right here in Lincoln. This is Travis with Midwest Bank, now with 2 branches conveniently serving Lincoln and 8 other locations across Nebraska. We're here to help you with any of your needs. From opening a checking account to buying a home or financing your business, our staff is here for you. Stop in and you might see Shin Daddy himself. Your community, your bank, Midwest Bank. Learn more at midwest.bank, member FDIC.
Ryan, with all this red and all these people around, I'm still not seeing the tailgate.
Todd Spidell, former body shop owner, terrible driver.
We're getting close. Now, did you know with 3 locations in Lincoln and hundreds of years of combined technician experience, we can get Husker fans back on the road even quicker and safer after their tailgate mishaps? Oh, Todd, turn left right here.
Left or right?
Left, right here.
Right?
Well, you wait for the tow truck. I'm getting a hot dog.
Well, I guess while I'm waiting. All right, most recommended Eustace Body Shop.
Woohoo! Dude, you should be on American Idol.
You really think so?
No.
Accidents happen, even to Husker fans. If it happens to you, call Eustace Body Shop, where our customers send their friends.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstorats.com for amazing offers. And if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Call Bats to Rats today at 402-781-8691. That's 402-781-8691. Bats to Rats.
Attention students and anyone else looking for a great deal. Sun Valley Lanes and Games has the ultimate weeknight special. For just $15.95, unlimited bowling, lucky putt mini golf, and laser tag. Flash your college ID at check-in to receive $2 off your admission. It's the perfect way to unwind Sunday through Thursday nights. Check out sunvalleylanes.com for hours and availability. Sun Valley Lanes and Games, located at 321 Victory Lane.
Lincoln's best place to meet, eat, and compete. Sun Valley.
Explain to me again why we're sleeping on the ground.
Because we're thramping, thrift camping. It's saving us money and getting us closer to nature.
But we don't need to thramp. I just combined our home and auto insurance with our State Farm agent, so we have a rate that fits our budget.
All right. Do you think our agent can bring us an air mattress?
Call your local State Farm agent, Vinny Krekak, at 402-474-1173.
Individual premiums and budgets will vary by customer. All applicants subject to State Farm underwriting requirements.
An hour ago, you didn't need a plumber. Now you're in a panic. When life throws you a surprise with a clogged drain, plugged or leaky toilet, broken pipe, leaky faucet or water heater, or a bathroom or kitchen plumbing upgrade, whatever. Just call Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing, 467-1111. Keep that number handy, 467-1111. Or go to BryantLincoln.com. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. We do whatever it takes.
If you want to make new floor shopping easier, come to Oak Street Carpet. Hi, I'm Steve Carper. Our flooring professionals can help you choose the best flooring for you, your family, and your budget. We eliminate the confusion. even better, you'll be enjoying your new flooring much sooner. No 6 or 8 week waits. We'll install right away and save you money on installation. Floor shopping made easy every day at O Street Carpet.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
This is the Don't Punt Hour on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, DeMornay Pierson-El.
All right, welcome back in. Second segment, and we'll probably just go all the way through on this one without taking another break because we still got plenty left to talk about. Some more updates. Royals down 1-0 as they head into the top of the fourth inning to the Yankees as they currently are down. So 1-0, Royals down, heading to the top of the fourth. And then the Saints down 7-0 already. Kind of expected it to a little bit of a degree here. Felt like a big day for the Chiefs, and we'll see how this game continues. We'll give you updates, but they are currently down 7-0, and the Chiefs, I believe, got the ball back. As I was walking by, it looks like the Saints just punted again. So let's talk about some more of the good here for the Huskers in that win on Saturday versus Rutgers. What's your grade for the defense? If you had to give the defense an overall grade.
I would say like a B++. Like I want to give them an A, but like they scored, and I don't feel like they should have. I mean, you held them out of the end zone the whole game. So I'll give them a B+.
I'll give him an A- simply for the amount of stall outs and saving Nebraska's back on that goal line stand. I think, without that play right there, that game probably.
You say that, but the dude also dropped a wide open touchdown, which if he catches that, which I don't know, the cornerback fell. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, I mean, that's not really the defense. That's on a receiver. So I get what you're saying, but you give him an A-. Like I said, I'll go B+.
That's fine. Yeah, we can not too far a difference there, and we can nitpick some things. But for the most part, after that first drive and that one slip by the corner, it was pretty much dominant all the way through, and you did force the game into you basically forced them on what you wanted to. You had a few miscues, but for the most part, felt like the defense controlled that game and how Rutgers wanted to operate. So that's why I'll give them the A-. And simply just being out there as much as they were, the stalled outs from the offense in that second half was just putting them in tough spot after tough spot. The goal line stand, tough spot there. But I just want to read some numbers because this is some stats that kind of just tells you how far away this team is. 25 teams have forced 10+ turnovers. 11 teams are allowing less than 14 points a game. 6 teams have recorded 20+ sacks. Nebraska is the only to do all three. They're also top 10 in passing defense and rushing defense. So it's officially top 10 defense. I mean, they're hitting that elite territory. Now, to be truly elite, you got to do it every week. So we'll see what this looks like as the competition gets stiffer. Does it look the same when you play Ohio State, or does it look like Illinois again? That's going to be the question, even against Indiana, right? I don't want to keep writing these guys off. That offense is explosive. That'll be another really good test, but them being able to shut down Monangai, who was averaging 6 yards a carry, was just really impressive. And it's not just the players. You give Tony White on the X's and O's for making the adjustments as well. That's when that thing really took off for him. One guy I want to talk about, James Williams, at the end there, number 90. DeMornay Pierson-El, what'd you see in him? Wasn't the name talked about, but he was the guy at the end of the game to really put the nails in the coffin.
I mean, he was a closer. I mean, that's what he was. I mean, Nash, had probably a quiet day. Robinson, had an roughly, quiet day, but I mean, he started kicking doors in, and that last quarter, it woke up Robinson. So I mean, he was exactly what the doctor ordered. Listen to what he said about things and everything like that. I'm glad, he's getting that opportunity and whatnot. But hopefully, his game continues to build on from here, because like I said, I mean, that's kind of the one thing that you kind of miss, and somebody that can necessarily, get after the quarterback or, close the door. Because, Nash going to get double teamed. Ty going to get double teamed. So somebody got to win with those guys getting doubles. So somebody has to do something. It can't just be, those two and that's all.
Yeah. And real quick, shout out Crowbait for chiming in here. I forgot to remind everybody, it is 11 a.m. So that is not this week. Obviously, we got the bye, 11 a.m. On Fox. Nebraska will play Indiana. But, yeah, I mean, that's what that team needed to at that point, was just someone like Williams who was just going to be that closer for you. It's because it was getting to a point where you knew the offense just was struggling to the point to where someone needs to shut down this offense consistently. And especially when Cali McManus is going to have to drop back and try to pick up some of the yards, knowing how bottled up that run game was. It was good to see a guy like Williams, again, just kind of proving the development of these Black Shirts. Like, it feels like every week we see another face where it's like, I can see him getting more time. Last week it was Sierra Wright, who also played another great game on top of it this week. And, with Tommy Hill being as great as he is, the fact that you have all these other options that seem to play, to that same level, it just goes to the depth of this defense that Tony White's building. I mean, do you go out of your way to keep him around and pay him even more?
Man, give that man whatever he wants. You better hope the right coaching opportunity doesn't, become available. It's going to be hard to keep him in Lincoln another year. Yeah. It's going to be hard to keep him there because I don't think another DC position would draw any interest or anything like that.
He's going to get head coach offer calls.
For sure. He got that last year. It just wasn't, something that he wanted. So if the right opportunity comes available, which, how the NCAA coach turnover is, we were talking about it, the Minnesota job, what if something happens like that, you know what I mean? Is that appetizing enough, or it's good.
Minnesota's defense with Tony White, just the Tony White team in Minnesota would be awful to deal with. It would just be miserable, especially. I think that job's safe though for now, right? I mean,
I was just throwing that out there, but yeah, I mean, you should Minnesota is in the same situation that, Northwestern was in after, Fitzgerald left.
Yeah.
Or fired or whatever. I mean, he's that type of coach there. So, okay, even if you do move on from him, like, who are you going to get that's better than him? But, I think it's going to be real. It's going to be challenging to keep Tony in Lincoln after this year.
Yeah, I gave it an honest thought. Who's going to get better than him? And the question is obviously, like, nobody's going to come to your mind. I was trying to even think of guys that'd be close, but it's pretty dried up right now. And like you said, there's a good chance. And unfortunately, I shouldn't say unfortunately, Rule's such a nice guy that he's not going to want to keep his guys trapped up in Nebraska. He's going to, if he sees a good job out there for him, he's going to want what's best for him and let them do as they please if they want to go expand and grow their career. But it feels like it's just a matter of time with Tony White. And my hope is for Nebraska, how much winning can we do while he's here? And how much of a culture can he establish and leave behind if that day does come? Because if it's not, this upcoming season, he is going to just keep getting those calls. And we've seen it before, especially in the baseball world. We just saw it with Texas A&M. Their coach bounced left, went to a rival school after promising that he wasn't going to do anything. So to your point, we've seen the coaching cycle when it comes to college sports, and they'll tell you everything you want to hear. Meanwhile, they're having secret contracts, secret meetings down in wherever school they're looking at, putting all that stuff together. We even saw it with our AD. So, like, I'm not going to put all my faith in anybody, but I will say this: for what he's done, he's already at a point where, as long as nothing crazy happens, everyone's going to be grateful for the small amount of time he's spent here so far, because it's safe to say that the Black Shirts, whether you want to say in full force or not, but there is certainly a version of the Black Shirts that have been reestablished here in Nebraska. The numbers say it's a top 10 defense. I think that's all I got on the defense. I was just really impressed by their ability to stop the run after what felt like that first drive. It was going to be wide open all night.
Exactly. It typically takes them, 2 series to kind of like lock in and whatnot and make the small adjustments or step up with certain things or whatnot. But I mean, for the most part, they had a day, and there's not much you can take away. You can nitpick at certain things or whatnot, but they answered the call when the call came, and they are the reason why we won that game straight out.
Yeah, no question. And again, the key number is they held Rutgers to only 78 yards rushing, after giving up 60 in that first drive.
He got that, I think, in the first quarter.
Yeah, it was first drive. Yeah, it was right off the bat. They ran off with it, and again, you give Tony White credit on defense, makes the adjustments, and then you give the credit to the players for following through and trusting White. And sure enough, it worked like absolute magic. Like it just tells you sometimes what great coaching can do, because without that adjustment, it keeps going. Who knows for how long? But Tony White very early made the adjustment, and that what's led to Nebraska's inevitably their win, because we still got to talk about it. The offense, give me the quick thoughts on offense, and then we're going to nitpick it here, as it wasn't terrible, but it stalled out big time.
It wasn't good.
No, it was not good.
Inconsistent. If things keep happening like that, do you remember the Colorado game last year, where the first half, the defense did what it did and offense was keeping up, but outside of the turnovers, you remember how quick and ugly that game got? Potentially, like that can happen to us because the defense will be out there too much. So you have to, and it's not just the time of possession. Again, time of possession is just time of possession if you don't put points up. So that's a bit concerning. Just with I don't know with what's happening, and people's like, oh well, run the damn ball, this and this and that. Well, that's kind of hard to do when the box is loaded.
Yeah.
That with an already offensive line that's questionable. They're decent. They're getting the job done, but so it's hard starting to run when teams know like you want to run the ball. So it's not that easy, and just doing that and whatnot. You kind of got to spread them out and whatnot, and they got to get back to the fundamentals. Dylan, he's great, but he's living and dying by the off-platform throws. Get back to getting your feet under you. Get back to making the right decisions. It's the only thing I'm gonna really say about him. I'm not too mad or upset or it's your fault, this and that. Like, no, I understand you're trying to make plays and whatnot, but get back to the basics of things and whatnot. Keep on track. Play calling has to be a little bit better with just getting everybody involved in the offense. To kind of help for that not to happen. You can't just keep putting a game on a true freshman and think he's going to continue to win you games or do things when y'all not putting points up on the board. It's a team effort for a reason.
Yeah, and that showed, right? Dylan Raiola had his worst game, and we scraped out of there by the skin of our teeth. You get a bad game from Dylan Raiola, all of a sudden we look like the Huskers of the past. And I'm just being serious. Like it kind of shows you how important that position is and how having a quarterback of his caliber has led us to winning a lot of these games. Like he has this bad game, no touchdowns. He finishes, I think, at exactly 50%, just shy of 50%, 134 yards, 1 interception. And this one was his first real interception in my eyes. I mean, he threw it right at the guy, whether you didn't see him. I think that's the only way that interception makes sense. He just didn't have that guy in his peripheral for whatever reason. He was blending in. But yeah, if you want to nitpick Dylan Raiola, for me, it's definitely just the off-platform throws as well. He's young. He's still getting more comfortable in that pocket, but he likes that fader. Whatever throw that is where he's leaning back, kind of falling backwards off his feet to avoid the rush as opposed to either trying to avoid it, step up into it. He's had a few off balance. They're not the ones, surprisingly enough, leading in interceptions, but they are leading to just missed.
Mm-hmm.
He's just missing guys enough. And Banks, they are great wide receivers. They're not necessarily the burners where you have miles of separation to where you can just kind of hoist it up there and let them catch up to it. They're not that fast. So you got to kind of throw it on the dot, and it's a lot harder to do when you're making those off balance platform throws, which are fun, but it doesn't always lead to the most accurate pass. Give me the run game. Thoughts on that? Offensive line, I thought just played okay. I don't think they're the reason for it kind of stalling out in that second half, but we get to see a lot more of Emmett Johnson. But this was a game where all the running backs looked a little bit the same. Your thoughts?
It's I think it's pretty bland and pretty boring of what they're trying to do. Again, teams are taking, what Illinois did is just stacking the box. Because if the run game gets going, I feel like that kind of, revives everybody. So if you kind of keep, that out of, it makes things a little bit harder. And I think it's a little bit harder with getting, other people involved. We're not, using the tight ends, so much as over the field or, out routes or anything like that. And so it's keeping, it's keeping things very generic, very in front of. You're not making the defense work at all. I'm not seeing, these fly motions. People, that at least, hold. If it's eye candy, that at least give, the linebackers or safety that's supposed to be in their spots. That'll just, give them a second just to, be not as straight downhill. They might, wait a second. Well, that's all you might need to, get through the line and whatnot. So I think they kind of got to add some more to some stuff just to kind of keep it, to keep defenses off balance. Right now, you're doing exactly what they expect you to do. You're just handing the ball off, and you're expecting, you're already subpar offensive line do something that they're not really, that they're not really doing, that they're not that. And then you expect, your backs to be Amir Abdullah, and they're not that either. So it's you got to do a little bit more. You got to get things. If that's screens, if that's out on the edge a little bit more, tight end screens to kind of get people to respect certain things to get out of just everybody in the box. You got 5 on 6, 5 on 7. That ain't gonna work, regardless of who the running back is. Emmett had some runs. The other running back had some okay runs, but again, I mean, every time he gets the ball, it's somebody free, and it's him. It's 1 versus 1 in a hole. Like that's not a good, it's not a good odd. So it's not terrible, but you got to get people out of their gaps. You got to get people flowing east to west a little bit more before you start to see some of those big runs pop off that we were seeing early on.
Yeah, and for me, it's you just gotta get more creative, and I got to choose my words carefully here, because I know how everyone thinks about him when they hear this name. But he did do one thing right, and Scott Frost, he was the master of the eye candy. I mean, that was his entire offense was basically predicated on it, trying to catch your eyes wandering to dial up some sort of play. And you know what? As much as you might have not liked the tenure, that part for Scott Frost actually worked quite well. I mean, we had a lot of plays where we could dial up just by catching them off guard with the eye candy and doing the same stuff over and over enough to where the one time they switch it up and maybe you got a wheel route coming off from the running back, stuff like that is where that can pay off. And also, it doesn't even have to be tons of motions. Watching the Steelers Cowboys last night, they do a nice job. They catch Cowboys off guard by a shovel pass to the tight end. If you're so high on these guys like Fedoni, give him more ways to attack than just the drag or sit open in a zone, because they don't really put him on a whole lot of seam routes either.
And it's crazy because it's like teams are, they're pretty much playing, a 1 high. They're begging to be tested vertically. Give them what they want. Just basic concepts. Flood. If your smash routes, your seams. Your double post. Deep crossover. Just simple stuff. And I'm nitpicking on things or whatnot, but you gotta have a little bit more versatility with everybody. Excuse me. You got to have more versatility with everybody, not just, one person or you're only in this box. We've seen the jet sweep. We haven't seen any rounds. We haven't seen any fake rounds. Throw it downfield. Like give them something to, lull them to sleep a little bit, or different variations of certain stuff to kind of get people to move. You get them out of that, then you can run the ball. And then once running the ball, they're going to get back into certain things. You can't just be, plain Jane. Sometimes that works, but people kind of understand that, and you're not going to beat them by just doing that. So you gotta add to the game a little bit more. I think the quarterback's definitely, ready for it. You got all of our guys can catch out of the backfield. Why not go empty and throw it out there to the running back? You got 2 blockers and an offensive lineman heading out there and let them do a screen. You know what I mean? Just simple stuff.
Yeah, it's just, just be creative. Like, have some fun with it. As crazy as that sounds. I love Ja'Cory Barney. There's got to be more ways to use him than the jet sweep, though. That's nitpicking, but it's to the point where if you want to be a ranked team, you don't look at a lot of those ranked teams and see a super vanilla offense, unless we're talking about Michigan, who even they look quite a bit different without that same dominant offensive line. Like, unless you have that line, unless you have just dominant line of scrimmage play, you can't really afford to be super simple and allow those defenses to really just trust everything they scouted on. And then when the game starts, they just go to that scout book and everything that's on there is syncing up exactly with what you're doing. So, I mean, that's kind of where we are. It feels a lot better to nitpick over a win than it is to complain about another loss. So it's not like complaining, but the Huskers did win this weekend. They took care of Rutgers. We can hope for more. 1 away from bowling, and they got a bye week to fix everything that we just talked about tonight. Good morning, Pierson-El. Appreciate the time. We'll talk some NFL and maybe some more college football tomorrow. So until then, we'll see you in a bit.